Have you ever noticed something in a room that everyone else seemed to miss? Not a dramatic secret, just a shift. The smile that arrived half a second too late. The coworker who said, "I'm fine," but stopped making eye contact. The group chat that went quiet after one sentence. And then, when you say something about it, people look at you like you are reading too much into nothing. So you learn to stay quiet. You learn to pretend you did not notice. But inside, your mind keeps asking, why did I see that when nobody else did? People like this are often called overthinkers, too sensitive, suspicious, intense, or hard to relax around. But sometimes, the person who sees what others miss is not trying to create drama. They are paying attention at a level most people skip. This ability can be a gift. It can also become exhausting. Because once your mind learns to scan for tiny signals, it does not always know when to stop. In psychology, attention is not just noticing whatever is in front of you. Attention is a filter. It decides what gets access to awareness, memory, emotion, and action. Most people filter out a lot so they can keep moving. But some minds keep the filter more open. They catch tone, timing, posture, facial tension, background mood, contradiction, and silence. Research on sensory processing sensitivity describes a normal trait where some people process sensory, social, and emotional information more deeply. That does not mean they are broken. It means their nervous system may register more detail and need more time to sort it. This is one reason highly sensitive people and many introverts can feel so aware in ordinary rooms. Their mind is not always chasing problems. Often, it is organizing subtle information before words have caught up. That is why the insight may arrive first as a feeling, then later as a sentence. For a while, that can make you doubt yourself. You sense something before you can prove it, and proof matters. So the healthiest version of this gift is not instant certainty. It is patient attention. It is the ability to notice, wait, and let reality confirm or soften the first impression. They are not only hearing words. They are hearing the space around the words. They are not only seeing faces. They are seeing effort, restraint, discomfort, distance, and small emotional weather changes. The first reason some people notice what others miss is pattern memory. Your brain remembers what certain signals used to mean. Maybe a parent's clipped tone meant the evening was about to become tense. Maybe a friend pulling away once meant rejection was coming. Maybe in school, one laugh across the room meant you were about to be excluded. So now, when a similar signal appears, your mind marks it as important before you can explain why. This is not magic. It is a nervous system connecting old data with present cues. Sometimes it is accurate. Sometimes it is only afraid. And learning the difference is where the real work begins. The second reason is empathy. Some people do not just observe other people's emotions. They feel the temperature of them. They can walk into an office kitchen and know two people had a conflict before anyone says it. They can hear the difference between a tired, "I'm okay," and a guarded one. They can feel when a friend is performing cheerfulness on FaceTime. This can make them compassionate. But it can also make them responsible for feelings that are not theirs. If every mood in the room becomes your assignment, awareness turns into a burden. You stop asking, "What do I actually know?" You start asking, "How do I fix what I think everyone is feeling?" The third reason is that sensitive minds often notice contradiction. A person says they are not upset, but their shoulders are tight. A manager says everything is fine, but the Slack message is colder than usual. A partner says they are listening, but their attention has already left the room. Most people accept the sentence and move on. You notice the gap between the sentence and the signal. That gap can feel loud, but a gap is not always proof. It is an invitation to slow down. The fourth reason is that quiet people often have more room to observe. When you are not trying to dominate the conversation, you may notice the person who has stopped contributing. When you are not performing confidence, you may catch the tiny moment when someone else drops as theirs. In a Zoom call, you might notice who keeps unmuting and then changing their mind. At a family dinner, you might notice who laughs too quickly to cover discomfort. On a date, you might notice when someone's words say yes, but their rhythm says hesitation. This does not make you better than other people. It simply means your attention may move differently. Some people enter a room looking for the main event. You enter a room and notice the emotional background. That background can contain useful truth. It can also contain noise. And if you treat every piece of noise as a message, your mind never gets to rest. The danger is when your mind turns every small cue into a complete story. They paused, so they are angry. They replied late, so they are pulling away. They looked tired, so you did something wrong. This is where perception becomes prediction, and prediction can become anxiety. Your sensitivity starts as information, but your fear writes the ending. There are signs that your awareness has crossed from insight into overload. The first sign is that you cannot let a small moment remain small. One facial expression becomes an hour of analysis. One silence becomes a whole relationship forecast. One strange tone becomes evidence that you are unsafe. The second sign is that your body reacts before the facts arrive. Your chest tightens. Your jaw locks. Your stomach drops. You are not just noticing the room anymore. You are bracing against it. The third sign is that you feel guilty for not managing everyone. You sense someone is off, so you become extra careful. You soften your voice. You explain more. You apologize early. You try to make the room peaceful before anyone even asks. This is not emotional intelligence anymore. It is self-abandonment, wearing the mask of care. So what do you do with a mind that sees so much? You do not shame it. You train it. First, separate the cue from the conclusion. The cue is what happened. They got quiet. Their text was shorter. They looked away. The conclusion is what your mind added. They hate me. I ruined everything. Something bad is coming. When you separate the two, you give your intuition room to speak without letting fear drive. Second, ask one grounding question. Do I have enough evidence to act, or do I only have enough evidence to notice? This question protects your peace. Sometimes you do have enough evidence to ask a clear question, set a boundary, or follow up. But sometimes you only have enough evidence to stay aware and keep breathing. Not every signal requires an emergency response. Third, return responsibility to where it belongs. You can care about someone's mood without owning it. You can notice tension without becoming the repair team. You can be kind without turning yourself into the emotional alarm system for every room. That boundary is not cold. It is how sensitivity stays healthy. The goal is not to stop noticing. The goal is to stop being captured by everything you notice. Because the world will always contain pauses, mixed signals, tired faces, delayed replies, and rooms with invisible pressure. If you are sensitive, you may always see more than some people see. But you do not have to carry more than you are meant to carry. Your gift is not the ability to predict every hurt. Your gift is the ability to meet life with depth. Depth needs boundaries. Awareness needs rest. Empathy needs a self to return to. So the next time you notice the pause, the tone, the look, or the silence, try saying this: I can see this without becoming responsible for it. Let that sentence give your mind a little room. Let it remind you that perception is powerful, but peace is also a form of wisdom. You are not broken because you notice what others miss. But you deserve a life where every detail does not become a demand. You deserve to see clearly and still feel safe. You deserve to be sensitive without being swallowed by the room. And if this felt like your inner world, stay close to inner cortex. This is where we turn the things you thought were too much into language, understanding, and a little more peace.